Today we're talking about a couple of different things, one being a tragedy in Pickering, Ontario, one being a Brookfield neighborhood, and another being part of the, population that has a child who is about to go into the workforce in a couple of years, talking about how there are no jobs for Canadian youth. So, welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. I haven't even been getting that many views, but the views that I do have, thank you guys so much. It truly means a lot. I'm sure my YouTube, the more I stick to it, the more I stay at it, the more that I have success with it, even if I have some fails. That's just what you got to do. You got to take the wins with the losses and keep going. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. It's a rainy day, so I'm taking advantage of it. So thank you guys for joining me with my videos. It truly means a lot. You have no idea. Oh my goodness. And sharing my video really helps. So thank you guys so much. And let's get into today's video.
It's hard to put into words how the brutal murder of this innocent woman has shaken the neighborhood here in the city of Pickering. This was an unprovoked attack, something the police chief called sadistic. We're now learning more about the teen who was taken into custody as the community comes together in a state of grief and disbelief.
So this woman was gardening and she lived at home with her husband she took care of her husband who had mobility issues, and she was gardening and a 14-year-old came up and unalived her with a sharp object. And the neighbors had to step in to stop what was going on. He had no idea who this person was. This was an unprovoked attack. This is not the first time this has happened. This is an ongoing issue in Canada. And do you want to know why? Can you guys guess what I'm going to say? Because in school, you have no consequences. And probably by the time you're 14, you know that you have no consequences if you're 14 and you commit something like that. Because when you're 18, it just gets wiped, which we might need to go and rethink about. Okay, because if we're going to allow children to do whatever they want, and trust me when I say that they could do this, if this person had an educational assistant at school, they could do this to their educational assistant and not be charged at all. In fact, they might not even be in trouble. And that, my friends, leads to situations like this. That plus unchecked access to the internet and being ignored by parents, and all of that is a recipe for disaster. It really is. And it's really such a shame because this is horrific. This is truly horrific. I seriously cannot imagine if my grandparents were gardening and this happened to them. I would, oh my gosh, my eye's twitching. Do you know when my eye started twitching? Since what year? The teenager also got away and he was walking in the neighborhood waving at people. We need to do something in the schools. Okay, this is going to continue to happen. You guys seen it? I believe there was a story last year about teenage girls attacking elderly people in Toronto as well. What? Not once did I ever think it would have been okay. And I was kind of a troubled teen. Ever okay to attack an elderly person? What is wrong with it with teenagers? I'll tell you what's wrong is that they get away with literally anything and everything at school. And most go home to parents, well, maybe not most, but a lot go home to parents who do not check what their kids are doing and watching and ingesting online. Do not care what their kids are doing, okay? Yeah. So anyways, the woman wants privacy, but we had to talk about that because this is a direct result of how we teach children that their actions do not have consequences in school. We are seeing the horrendous societal issues that come from doing that right here, right now. Anyway, so this is going to be kind of wonky, okay? I'm going to show you guys this Brookfield neighborhood in Alberta. Alberta, guys.
This community is Calgary's new north. Welcome to Livingston by Brookfield Residential. Livingston is situated only 20 minutes from downtown and features all style of housing options from townhomes, duplexes, laned home, front garage, and even estate homes. And the buying experience here is like no other. They have this indoor show home village where you can connect with all the builders here without having to go to multiple areas. And there's even the Brookfield ambassadors to help you answer questions about the community and point you in the right.
Sorry if it was wonky, but yeah. Okay. Are you kidding me? Are you guys kidding me? First of all, that looks like someone who was on the left. Why does it only matter to liberals and left-leaning people in Canada if the conservatives are the ones that are teaming up with companies? What the heck is this? This just makes it easier for you guys not to be able to leave when we have the ultimate social credit score. And I am not kidding. Neighborhoods ran by Brookfield. I'm sorry, don't they complain all the time about rich landlords coming in and buying up neighborhoods and upcharging rent? And it could never be the government's fault, you guys to the left. It is solely the CEOs, and then they hired one of the world's largest asset manager, which essentially means world's largest landlord. You can't make it up. And Alberta, I love you guys and I want to go there, but the things that I have heard, like, why is the first 15-minute city in Alberta? Why is this happening? Like, we need to genuinely, and I know why, but I thought that there was not a lot of NDP representatives in the cities anymore to be doing this. Who are the mayors? What's going on? Okay. Anyways, it's only okay when they do it. Okay. And I just wanted to say props to Bloc Québécois for calling out Elections Canada. And I believe they're taking them, yeah. So I was today years old, by the way, when I found out that Elections Canada investigates themselves. Okay, I think we should make a running list. I'm going to make a running list right here of all of the literal corruption that I find out about every single day, because what do you mean Elections Canada? It's like when the government hires the RCMP, who is a government-run thing, to investigate them and nothing happens. Same with CSIS, same with literally everything. Why bother finding out the corruption when the corruption's paying you? That's all I gotta say for that, okay? Actually, it's not. And I will just say this, that I don't trust my fellow Canadian enough to actually give us the correct results. Yeah, I trust the scrutineers that go, maybe. But like taking votes home, I'm sure the government could hire somebody to come and be security for those places at night. Taking them home, with some of people being forced to use a pencil, you expect me to have faith in these elections when people take these home. There are things that this government could do to ensure that Canadians, like even when I said, you guys, when they found out about the WeChat and that these people were being threatened to vote a certain way, so you know where the demographic of Chinese Canadians are, how about you put some signage or people up at these stations to remind people that nobody could see their vote and that their vote was private and nobody could tell what their vote was. That's number one. That's literally I feel day one brainstorm is if I was on CSIS. Just day one, okay? And I'm a regular person and I still have better ideas than the government themselves. But I don't think it's about ideas. I think it's about getting away with whatever they want. Sorry, my friend texted me because I'm trying to figure out this AirTag situation. But we're going to talk about... Oh, did I end talking about... Either way. It's bad that Canadians, even like me, who have voted since they were 18 and had faith in Canadian elections, are obviously seeing the cracks. And, instead of calling people election deniers, it's just like that time in last summer with Grand Ben and the beach situation. Instead of just saying, hey, we'll look into it and we'll figure it out, calling people racist really didn't do anything. So calling people conspiracy theories and election deniers is not great when, you know, for the most part, all of these went into liberal, like being separated by one vote and then finding out that Elections Canada got something wrong. That should be on Elections Canada and that vote should be counted. I'm sorry, that's just common sense, okay? So let's move on to the last topic, which is summer youth jobs in Canada. This is London, Ontario, you guys, for LCBO. I have heard people say that a thing that deters them from having children is the fact that they're worried that their kids will not have a job in Canada when they grow up. How sad is that we've gotten to a point where because you were born here, you have a less likely chance of being hired because our government supplements CEOs who hire non-Canadians. The amount that this is doing to our society as an overall, you know, kids can't even be told or taught consequences in school, let alone go to a summer job and, you know, gain those skills as, you know, most of us did when we were younger. And the fact that we've let over 800,000 people into the country, not only do a lot of us not have a family doctor, okay, a lot of people are unalived waiting for the care that they need, or they're offered medical assistance in being unalived in Canada by the government as a, you know, way of treatment. I cannot believe that this is not a bigger conversation because this spells EUGENICS. Okay? Oh my gosh, do you guys see my eye twitching? That has happened since 2021. Did I already say that in this video? Because it's already happened, hasn't it? Oh, correlation isn't equal causation. Oh, sure. Not only is our government letting jobs leave to go to America, but they're actively giving the jobs that we need to people who immigrated here. There's no reason why that many people have come over here. We have no resources to give. We are pouring from an empty cup at this point. And Canada will never look the same again. I genuinely hope that people see my video about the demographics were made because it's chilling. I think that this is one of those things that we will look at because white people have been the only people that have been convinced that worrying about their own G side would be racist. I'm telling you, this language is the exact language that they used all the time in history to discriminate against people, that we're born a certain way, that we, you know, it's just ingrained in us. Violence is just ingrained in us. This is just who we are. We can treat them like crap because they don't know better. How do I know? Because I used to be convinced. I used to be convinced that there were superior races than me, and I was the not superior race. I don't think that I am now. I think that I'm leveled out and think, you know what actually matters about a person most, I think, is what culture they're from and what the culture teaches. I think that skin color has nothing to do with it. It's where you're born and the values that you taught growing up. But that's not what I used to think. I used to think, but I also had a massive problem. I would never subscribe to them telling me I was racist at birth. Because I specifically remember in grade 6 learning that people who lived closer to the equator had a better tan of skin because it was biological. It was environmental biology, okay? It was not racist. I was like, that's very interesting. That's cool. Moved on with my life. That's what we were taught. And when we were taught that, way better results than whatever the theory that they're teaching now. Race theory. Okay? Anyways, guys, let me know. I'm freaked out by my AirTag thing. I can't really think about anything else, but I tried for this video. So let me know what you guys are thinking about in the news. I'm trying to cover things and try to cover mainstream things as well. You're only going to get views if you cover mainstream things. So I cover mainstream things and little things, but let me know if there's anything in little towns going on. I want to know these things so we can talk about them, okay? Because these little things, like the woman in Pickering, these little things, not little, I mean, it's not little to the family, whatever, but these stories that don't get covered as much are speaking to Canada as an overall, and they matter so dang much. So I like covering little local stories. Let me know if you guys have anything you want me to cover. I think someone asked me to cover the Pickering story and I forgot to until now. So have a good rest of your day, guys. And don't forget to watch my AirTag video because, yeah, that's scary. And have a good one, guys. Bye.